Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coinwell International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1979 Lincoln 1 cent coin. These are just some kind of fine examples. Look at the coloring on here. It's just beautiful. If you're going to get a coin that's been used, if you can get this kind of coloring on it, I think those are the kinds that people just love to have. It looks like it went through a lot of hands. It looks like it's aged and aged well. This, of course, in '79 we were still doing the bronze, which was the copper and zinc or tin mix, 95% copper, I believe, and 5% zinc or tin. It wasn't until 1982 that we switched over to the zinc filled ones that just don't get the patina that these ones do. So this is a 1979 D here, and D, of course, for the Denver Mint. And at the Denver Mint in 1979, they made a lot of these. They made 6 billion. 4 billion. 6 billion at the Philadelphia Mint. So here's the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 6 billion. Here's the Denver Mint, D mint mark. They made 4.1 billion. And they also made them at San Francisco, and they made 3.6 million. The San Francisco Mint, if you're looking for these and you want the expensive versions, the San Francisco Mint version had two different types. It had a clear S and a filled S. And if you get the filled S version, then you'll it's really interesting because it's almost the same filled S version that was used for the stamping of the Susan B. Anthony coins. So if you've seen the Susan B. Anthony coins, they have a filled S in a blob version of the coins. I think this might be, let's see. There it is. So see this filled S version here? You will see this sometimes as an S on one of the 1979 pennies. And some people say that the stamp or the rod that was used to stamp this was the same for the pennies and for the Susan B coins. But either way, you might get a filled S version of this on a penny, and the filled S version is worth a lot less because the blob kind of versions weren't as valued as the ones that were clear. All right, so what do we got here? Well, we got Abraham Lincoln on the front, says, "In God we trust," over his head, Liberty behind him, 1979, D for Denver Mint here. If we tip these up, most pennies, if you tip them up, you can see right down in here the engraver's initials. And Victor David Brenner first engraved this in 1909. There's a V, a D, and a B here underneath Abraham Lincoln. It's gone through a couple different versions. This is the Lincoln Memorial version. You've probably already seen the wheat ears version where the wheat ears are on the back. The Lincoln Memorial version is United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here. Lincoln way down there in the center of the Lincoln Memorial, which is in Washington, D.C. There's 1 cent at the bottom. But over here on the side, there's the designer's initials for the back, and that's Frank Gasparo, F.G. Can you see those right there? Now, this came out in 1909, but it was not always the United States penny. And in fact, we used to have large pennies. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever seen one, so I thought I would bring one in. And this right here is the 1851 Liberty Head penny. They call it either the Liberty Head version or the braided hair version. And let me give you one guess why they call it the braided hair version. Just a kind of a beautiful coin. It says Liberty across the cap here. We have the stars going around. Down here it says 1851. And this is actually one of the kind of specialty coins you might look at. If you're looking for a Liberty Head and you can find the 1851, there's a little bit of an overdate here where the date kind of gets stuck onto Liberty a little bit, and that makes this much more valuable. But even if it wasn't that way, these coins are still worth 15 to 18 bucks. They made, in the 1851, they made about 9, almost 10 million of them. So compare the 10 million they made of those to the amount of Lincoln Memorial cents they made in 1979. They made 10 billion of these two. they made 10 million of this one. So that kind of shows you where some of the collectors' values will go. What's the value of these just as they are? Probably 3 or 4 cents. The S version, San Francisco Mint, only came out when the proof, so that's worth a minimum of probably $2. These coins here, because they made 10 billion of them, are not going to have any value at all. I think the U.S. Coin Digest says it's going to be worth $4 to $5 once you get up to MS 65 or above. So a mint state 65 out of 70. Then you start looking at some real money. If you can get this coin in a red, now this coin might have been red when it first came out, but it's gone through. If you can get this coin, see this red hue underneath here? If the whole coin looks like that and it's in good shape, that's going to be your most valuable coin that you can get for the 1979 version. All right, so there's the D, there's the P, there's the Lincoln Memorial. Here's the old school one, way bigger. The braided hair version. Oh, and I didn't show you the back of that one. United States of America, 1 cent. And again, we have had these wreaths on the coins for so long. And that's, people ask, well, where did that wreath come from? Well, there it is. Sometimes it's an olive wreath, sometimes it's another wreath, and coins just have them. All right. Well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.